Well, we got one last bit here, and this is also something that got us in a lot of trouble when
Oh yeah,
the three of us, I mean, reported on what was going on the West Coast in the historic first series of matches between Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan.
that's right. We have a round table here with John Arezzi, Dave Meltzer, and Wade Keller about what was likely the first in the botched initial Hulk Hogan Ric Flair series of matches. So let's go to these three wrestling journalists and get the full scoop.
Okay, first of all, what do you think of a concept of WCW and WWF co-promoting a couple of shows?
Hasn't Jim Herd been cooperating with the WWF for the last 3 years? I don't think that's anything new.
I guess he is co-promoting if you put it that way.
I mean, he gave him Ric Flair, and
he's co-promoting, and he's not even taking any money for it. He's such a generous guy.
Yeah, but he feels guilty about the money he's taking from Ted Turner to lose money for his own group. So he won't accept money from Titan because he gets enough.
Yeah.
What do you think his Christmas bonus will be from Turner Organization? That's Mr. Herd.
You don't mean from the Turner Organization. You mean from the Titan Organization.
We're treading water here, guys. But anyway, both of you were out in, well, Dave, you were in California. Obviously, you lived there. But Wade chartered a plane because of all the revenues he's been making from the Pro Wrestling Torch and his new endeavors on K-Fan, and chartered his own private plane. It was called the Nature Boy, and flew out to California to see this great match between Flair and Hogan. Now, both of you were there, sitting near Dr. Mike Leno, who
I wasn't sitting anywhere near Dr. Mike Leno for that match.
I guess Dr. Mike was your security person. He was protecting you from outside.
Mike was protecting us from something. I don't know what it was. Maybe from, I can't.
Okay. Okay. Let's get into the match. Hogan and Flair. Now they wrestled. What was it Oakland, California on Friday night, or Los Angeles? And how did that go? Both of your opinions. Dave first.
Well, it went 11 minutes and 35 seconds, and Flair was disqualified for hitting Hogan with a foreign object. Although before. It was actually a reverse decision. Flair hit him with the object and got a 3 count, and then a second referee and Dave Hebner ran out of the ring and danced around the ring and over-pantomimed and handed the belt back to Hogan. And then after the match, Flair put the figure 4 on Hogan for, a while, got out of the ring, and Hogan was helped out of the ring. It was limping to the back and did not pose afterwards, which is a first for here. And he virtually never does that at a house show. So it was a strong finish for Flair.
Okay, now this is a match that's been so anticipated by the casual fan. Well, not so much the casual fan, but especially the hardcore fan. Was there that aura of excitement before this match went into the ring?
I would say yes. I would say there was a certain aura that there was something special about to happen. I don't think it's as special as if this was presented as like the one and only Flair-Hogan encounter, or the first one, and it was going to be on pay-per-view. Just because I think most of the 15,000 give or take fans there knew that this wasn't on pay-per-view and that there would probably be more Flair-Hogan matches. I think there was there was obviously anticipation just because I noticed quite a few people leaving after the Flair-Hogan match.
There were the other thing is just the number of people in the crowd. It was probably the biggest crowd. I think it was probably in 4 or 5 years here. So that says that the anticipation level was, and it was real hot before the show ever started.
I think there was definitely, the interest level is shown by the crowd, but the anticipation level, I think you have to experience by being there. And I think that there was an anticipation level, but I don't think that it was at the level of, had this been a WrestleMania at Oakland Coliseum, and it was their first encounter after 6 months of promotion.
Yeah, now the crowd was a near-capacity crowd. It didn't go on last. It wasn't the last match of the night?
It was on 4th.
They had to announce, because of the controversial finish, they needed time to announce a rematch.
Okay, so there will be a rematch taking place there then.
It'll be
November 15th.
So
that'll be the first.
No, that'll be at the Cow Palace
market where they get the second match too.
And that'll be at the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
Okay. Were any special stipulations about a rematch?
No.
Okay. Now, for both of you rating this match, obviously Flair's a great worker and Hogan has a lot of charisma. How did Hogan perform with Flair inside the ring? What type of match was it? How many stars would you give it?
I gave it 3 or 3.25 stars. I thought it was what you would expect with Hogan being out of action for 2 months. it's what you would expect out of the match. It saw everything Flair does well. He did. It saw Hogan, have a decent match. It wasn't. I've seen much better matches between Hogan and Bossman and Hogan and Hennig. But those matches were some of them were in the cage, and it was a culmination of a feud with blood, and they went longer. I just got the feeling that the matches are going to get a lot better as they work with each other a lot more, and Hogan gets back into wrestling shape. I'm sure wrestling was like riding a bike. You always remember how to do it, but I also think there's a certain level of rustiness that Hogan developed over the last 2 months. So I think the match was good. It wasn't special. It wasn't overly special. I thought that the finish of the match and having Hogan shoulders to the mat for a clean 3 count, clean meaning he got hit with brass knuckles. I thought that was special. I thought it was special that Hogan was counted out of the ring. Overall, though, it wasn't disappointing, but it wasn't anything more than I expected either.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, when are they're going to wrestle again tonight? Or
they wrestled last night in Los Angeles, and I don't know how that went. And they're wrestling tonight in Tempe, Arizona, and then they'll be wrestling a couple of shows. I think Denver and Pittsburgh, and 1 or 2 other places next week. And they'll be wrestling every weekend from now until probably until middle of January at least.
Okay. Now, the scenarios that people have been talking about, obviously with Sid Justice's injury, changes a lot of the plans.
Actually, when it comes to Hogan and Flair, it doesn't change any plans.
Uh-huh. What do you anticipate happening with this, Dave and Wade, as far as the future scenarios go? Do you think Flair will in any way get the title from somebody to defend it against Hogan at WrestleMania?
I don't. I think that the maximum, I think I said this before, I think the maximum profit revenue that the WWF could get for a WrestleMania would be for Flair to be champion, defending against Hogan, and Hogan putting his career on the line if he doesn't win. But I don't think that it's going to go that way. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to go. I think that Hogan will go in as champ.
Hogan will go into WrestleMania as champ. Wade?
I think I agree with Dave as far as what would be the biggest moneymaker. And I don't have speculation one way or the other if Flair will get the belt. I guess if the speculated scenario of Undertaker beating Hogan at Survivor Series and Sid beating Undertaker 6 days later, and then Flair beating Sid at the Royal Rumble, and then Hogan versus challenging Flair at WrestleMania had come about, that wouldn't have surprised me. I think that would have been one of the better routes, I guess. But I don't think that was ever expected to happen.
That was never planned to happen.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if it would be I think it would be a good move to give Flair the belt. I just don't know how they would go about giving it to him. I won't rule out though Flair getting the belt at Royal Rumble.
Okay. So the matches, were they a personal disappointment, or did you enjoy them? Both of your personal opinions. First with Dave.
Well, as far as the whole card, it was just a typical Titan card. Anyone who thinks that Ric Flair being in Titan is going to elevate anyone else's work rate is mistaken. The night before in Sacramento, which I went to, was probably the worst undercard of a Titan show that I can ever recall seeing. In Oakland, I felt it was just an average WWF undercard in that, there was one match that was pretty decent, and the rest of the matches, were ranging from different stages of bad. Nothing was horrible or anything like that. We're in Sacramento, most of the undercard was horrible. And Flair was on that show, too, with Roddy Piper. So I see, the main events, I think, with Flair are going to be a tad better or considerably better, maybe down the road, than WWF main events usually are. But I think that the rest of the card is going to be the same as the rest of the cards have always been.
And I think part of the problem was the Rockers and Ted DiBiase weren't on the undercard, and usually you can expect out of them at least a good bad match, if not a good match. And I mean, the undercard was just filled with the typical.
They really loaded the undercard up with the guys who usually don't work.
Exactly. So it was as bad as the average Titan show is, and nothing special happened except the Flair Hogan match, and it was worthwhile. I mean, I don't anymore. I don't expect to be entertained at WWF shows anymore, except for a rare match like Ric Flair. There's very few times that it's entertaining from the aspect of quality wrestling. It's entertaining to see how many screwed up moves these guys who've been in the sport 12 years are going to make.
Okay, well, we appreciate you guys' opinions and coming on here today. Lastly, tonight, WCW has its next pay-per-view show, head-to-head against the 7th game of the World Series. And also here in this area, the Redskins and the Giants. Halloween Havoc is scheduled for tonight. And any last-minute surprises have any of you guys heard? Rick Rude, is he coming in as anticipated?
Rick Rude is there, and Paulie is there also.
Okay, Paulie will be there tonight.
I don't know if he will be on. I just know I know that he is in Chattanooga right now, and I know that as of about an hour ago, they didn't know if he was going to be on or not.
Okay.
They're talking about it, and they're negotiating. Paulie has his ideas. I can think of what he wants to do, and maybe they have their ideas too. I don't know, but
so hopefully that'll be rehashed. That's a good reason to tune in, just to see if Paulie will reemerge in WCW tonight.
But all the guys, with the exception of Wyndham, all of the injured guys will be working. Simmons, as far as I know, Simmons is going to work, and Diamond Stud and Pillman and El Gigante and Scott Steiner are all there, and they're all going to work.
Okay, they took Oz out of the Chamber of Horrors.
Yeah.
Now, is Cactus Jack going to be appearing in that?
Yeah, Cactus. I don't know this 100% for sure, but I believe that the villain team, the Chamber of Horrors, is going to be the opening match on the card. By the way.
It will be.
Yeah, and I believe that the heel team is going to be Cactus Jack, Abdullah, Diamond Stud, and boy, am I missing somebody? It shows how excited I am about this.
Chip the Firebreaker's turned, I heard. He's now called Chip the Arsonist.
That is great.
Who's the fourth guy in that match?
I'll look it up. I've got it written here somewhere. I just got done with my radio show and couldn't remember either. Van Vader.
Van Vader.
Oh, Van Vader. Yeah, Van Vader. That's right.
He's on the heel team.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the fourth guy. Yeah.
He was introduced on TBS yesterday as a heel. Jim Ross said that he's been a fan favorite sometimes, but now he's coming back to destroy. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's right. Van Vader. I know that Van Vader is down there too. So yeah, I think that makes. Yeah, I know he's down there.
The Steiner, Sting, and El Gigante against Abdullah, Cactus Jack, Stud, and Vader.
Well, certainly with the air of Halloween and the air of mystery in the air tonight, this will be a mysterious card. I wonder if the buy rate will be as mysterious.
Yeah,
I think the biggest blow. A lot of people argue about the effects that other sports and other TV shows, etc., have on pro wrestling events, but I think for a pay event, when the promotion, I just don't think they have a super hot match on the show. I think people are going to pass it up who haven't pre-ordered it to watch Game 7 of the World Series, especially since the games have been so exciting.
Yeah. You think it'll be an under a 1 buy rate situation?
I think it'll be. The other thing though is traditionally, this time of year, and they've gone against World Series games before and done real well on pay-per-view. So that's a factor too. But I think it'll be under a 1.
One of the things to consider too, not that it's a huge factor, but the Atlanta Braves are in the series, and one of WCW's WCW's based out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the biggest things is it's going to for sure damage the replay is going to be an alternative for a lot of people.
Well, I know the Atlanta Braves certainly have captured the hearts of the people in the South. They've been waiting for this for such a long time, and I think their love for the Braves certainly is going to outshadow wrestling tonight.
Yeah,
and,
but just the creatures are going to be Joey Maggs and Johnny Rich.
So, John, the aftermath of this was pretty tough on you, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, we got the call. I got the call. It's like, they just started cooperating somewhat by giving me Freddie Blassie. And then it was like, you're giving away the finishes. You're ruining the business. And so we're not cooperating with you anymore. So the backlash was swift and quick. And that was kind of the end of any cooperation with the WWF after we talked about the botched series of matches with Hogan and Flair, which really should have been built up to WrestleMania, and it wasn't. And of course, Flair eventually gets the belt in the Royal Rumble